all. Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the long, lonesome road. And been traveling a lot. Been putting a lot of miles here on the car, which I'm so glad to have back. I'm glad to finally be back in my Equinox. And so yeah, I've been traveling across the country in this blistering heat. Man, Dallas. I was in the Dallas area. Oh, we went over San Antonio, but in that Texas area right there. Every day I was there, it was at least 100 degrees, and it was brutal. It is so brutal. You can feel like the heat from, like, you're walking in a parking lot, and you can feel the heat coming down, but you can also feel the heat rising up like a heat sandwich. And then even when like after the sun goes down, you can still feel that heat coming up from the concrete or asphalt. It's something else. I know it's not, I think it reached 130 something degrees in Death Valley. I wasn't there for that, fortunately. But yeah, the Texas heat here. And Louisiana, we went over to through Louisiana. Now it was a little cooler there. It was only in the high 90s, but man, you know, they talk about the difference between dry heat and humid heat. There is definitely a difference. Like, no, there's no getting around it. 105 degrees is unreasonably hot, but when you incorporate that mugginess in there, it makes it all the much worse. One thing, like, you know, because people, I've always wondered about that. When growing up, people would say, "Oh, it's not the heat, it's the humidity," and I always wondered, what's the truth to that? What is there actually a difference? There is a difference. Like I said, 105, that's freaking hot. You can't get around the fact that that is so hot. But something about, like, the way you sweat is differently. It's like in the hotter heats, the sweat rolls off you. You sweat, but it comes off you. In that muggy heat, like, the sweat stays on you and it gets in your clothes and makes your pants wet. It's gross. But yeah, so yeah, I figured today, you know, we would just chat, just have a time to sit down. I've been moving so fast, I feel like I haven't got a chance to talk with you guys. So as far as, you know, my life goes, still not moved into the house. I'm gonna be moving into the house sometime after. So Annabelle is going off to college. My ex Christy is splitting time. She's got her own house now, but she's splitting time between there and staying with Anna at the old house. And after Annabelle goes off to college, which is coming up in August, she's going to be moving out, and then I will be taking over the house. The plan is for Jen to move down soon. Haven't got everything in place yet, but before the end of the year, plan is to get Jen down there with me. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting having the house back. You know, of course, we'll keep Annabelle's room. She'll be visiting, you know, when she comes back home. But yeah, that's where it's at. Just kind of waiting. Because of that, I've still been traveling, and when I get moved back into the house, there'll still be quite a bit of traveling going on. You know, you guys don't worry. I'm not gonna become a homebody or anything like that. We're still gonna do a lot of traveling. Just may do it in a different way. You know, may go on a road trip, then come back for a few days, and rest at the house. While now I'm just going from road trip to road trip. Like I've said, I think I have to go back and look, but since December of 2021, I do not believe I have been in a singular bed for more than 2 weeks. And it may even be less than 2 weeks. You know, I go up, visit Jen. She lives up in Rochester, New York. It's a bit out of the way from a lot of other stuff. One of the reasons I'm excited to get her back down to North Carolina and have that home there, that home base, which is more centralized. I can be up to Washington, D.C. in about 9 hours. I can be down to Orlando, Florida, in about 9 hours. So pretty much within 2 days, I can be almost anywhere on like the eastern section of the United States. And yeah, so Jen flew out, met me in Dallas. She loved Dallas, by the way. She actually loves the heat, not the humid heat. She loves the dry heat because of she has some issues with her knees, and she said that, you know, it feels great. She, like, her body health wise feels great. And a lot of people do ask the question, like, if Jen is out with me, you know, sometimes I film videos without her where she's not there. And Jen, I think, has talked about on her channel, she has some autoimmune issues, some health problems, so she's just sometimes just opts out, just does not choose to go with me, so that she can rest. And a lot of times it's not like she's too sick to join me or just too out of it to join me. A lot of times it's like about like preserving energy. You know, she knows that you know, she has only so much energy before she starts to feel poorly. So, you know, she'll be like, you know, I could do this, but, you know, tomorrow we got big plans, so I may sit this out. So yeah, so it's you know, it's something we've worked out. I know some people are like, where's Jen? And, you know, usually she's just resting. Sometimes she may even be just, you know, taking a moment to sit in the car with the air conditioner running, and just trying to, you know, preserve that energy. And you know, we're trying to work on, because I move at such a fast pace, so, you know, we kind of try to find a balance between, you know, her needing to rest, her needing to stay healthy and not overexert herself, and me just running around like a wild maniac. Now, speaking of health, that is one thing that I made the decision to ignore for since 2021. I had not been to the doctor since 2021. My doctor retired. I got a new doctor. I kept pushing back my first appointment with my new doctor, and ended up going June of 2023. So at least 2 years in between doctors visits. Not smart. Like, don't do that. That's on me. You know, I was just traveling. It was hard to schedule. Sometimes I'd call to see if they had an they could move it when I was going to be in the area, and they couldn't, so I ended up just bumping it back. It ended up being June of this year that I finally went to the doctor. And let me just preface all this by, I'm very cautious about how I talk about my health on this channel. I had an issue years ago where I was pretty blunt and shared some health issues that I had, and it was that, I'm afraid to even say it, but I have diabetes. I have type 2 diabetes, and I got diagnosed with diabetes. A doctor prescribed medication that pretty much put me back to a normal blood sugar. And so there'd be a lot of comments coming from the comment section, and I would say 99% of them were coming from a positive place, but it was very stressful to me to have all these different voices telling me different things, like you know, all this advice of like what I shouldn't do, people shaming me when I was eating, which just didn't sit right with me. You know, I believe my health decisions are between me and my doctor, so I'm not really on here asking anyone for advice. I do appreciate your concern. Obviously, like I said, it's coming from a positive place, but it really freaked me out. Just all these people telling me what I should eat, what I shouldn't eat. Feel like a portion of them really didn't understand what diabetes was or how it worked, but were still giving advice. So yeah, you know, it's difficult for me. So I'm going to talk about, you know, my health in kind of general terms. I did, you know, because this is a vlog, because it does follow my day-to-day life, I'm going to share some of this, but I'm trying to be careful, and I appreciate your concern. But But you know, it's just hard for me, hard on me as a person, the way I react to things. It's very difficult. I felt like all these voices in my ear were telling me what to do, and at the time I had my diabetes completely under control. So you know, I would eat, obviously I eat things for this channel. I eat ridiculous things sometimes. That's not how I eat. That's not how I eat normally. I don't eat a 72-ounce steak for every meal. But yeah, I did want to keep it, you know, I do want to make food. Food is a part of this channel. I do want to continue enjoying food. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I went to the doctor, been 2 years. I'm turning 43 years old this year. You know, it's a natural progression. You have to start paying attention to your health. You probably should pay attention to your health your whole life, but when you get to be my age, it's something you can't ignore. And you know, the results I got back from my first doctor's visit in 2 years there was some concern. There was some concern about my health, about how I'd been taking care of myself, and I honestly had not been taking care of myself well. Through the travel, through the immense amount of travel, often I wouldn't get done filming. You know, I get done filming, I drive like 3 or 4 hours to get to the next town. You know, by then I didn't have time to go and sit down and eat something. I would just end up going through drive-thru, eating fast food almost every single night. Haunt season was bad because I'd get out of the haunt like 10, 11 at night. The only thing open was McDonald's. So I got to the point where I was eating fast food like every meal. And that's not, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. The thing is, I didn't even like it. Like I was so disgustingly sick of fast food. I didn't even want it, but it was the only food available to me. So I've decided, you know, and I've been doing this probably for I'm trying to think back, coming up on at least 6, 7 weeks now. I've been kind of doing things differently, and it's been working for me. Been putting a lot of effort into changing how I eat in general, and you know, I think that's good. So, you know, if I'm on the channel here, I'm visiting a place that has a unique and insane food item, or there's some crazy fast food item I want to try, I will do that. But what I wanted to stop doing was just this automatic of shoveling of fast food into my mouth. So let me show you what I've done. So here we go. This is what I like to call car kitchen. We have my pantry right here with you know, with food that does not need to be refrigerated, although sitting in a 120-degree car has given me a little bit of concern about this this pantry. But this right here, this is the Yeti cooler. I bought this the same day that I visited the most recent visit to Cocaine Bear. So if you go back, that's about when I kind of made the change on how I eat. This was about $350, but you know, it is an investment because it's been a great boon to me. This Yeti cooler, you know, it holds ice pretty good. And again, the temperatures have been so hot, so I've been having to put a lot of ice in here. Usually add a bag of ice to this probably about every 1 to 2 days. But let me show you how I got it hooked up. As you can see, my car stays pretty packed with junk. Got different bags there, souvenirs, different things. I got an extra bag of clothes down there. Got my bag of Crocs. Got the water, you know, keep water, and Diet Orange with me. But what I did, you know, when I first bought this cooler, I had to drag it all the way here, unscrew the drain, and let it out. And that's actually one reason I've tried using coolers in the past, and they didn't have a drain, so you have to completely empty it to dump it out. I haven't tried I had a cooler for a little while that actually plugged into the car, but really it was kind of a piece of garbage. It really didn't cool very much. It was almost just like having a fan on your food. But so yeah, I wanted something with a drain. I wanted something that would keep ice for a long time. Some of the cheaper coolers, the ice melts so fast. That's why I plunked down the 350 for that. But when I first got this, I'd have to pull it out here, unscrew the drain, let it drain, tip it to get all that last water out, then push it back in here. This thing is really heavy. This is a very hefty cooler there. I don't know, they had one with wheels. I bought this one because it had more surface area to fit food. But this is what I did. I ordered online, got a special nozzle that you can attach a hose to. I keep the hose here, and then the hose has a cap on it, so I can drain the water without even having to move the cooler. Let's take the cap off there. Let the water drain. I don't want to. I'm gonna move this before the water runs into the camera. So every couple days I stop at Walmart, and I could use local grocery stores, but the main reason that I stop at Walmart is because Walmarts are pretty much the same all around the country, so no matter what town I'm in, I pretty much know where things are in Walmart. It saves me time trying to get into a store and figure out where things are kept. I have a really hard time with grocery shopping at a strange store. I will spend hours trying to like hunt everything down, and also I can plan ahead, know kind of what Walmart has, because again, they're pretty consistent throughout the country, and I can get know what I need, get in there, get the ice, and stock up my cooler. So I'm gonna run in there, grab some groceries, and I'll see you guys in just a moment. And we have gotten a basket of groceries here. Got 2 things of ice. I'm still like trying to like perfect the ice. Sometimes I buy too much ice and I can't fit all my groceries inside. So kind of been experimenting, and of course the weather plays a role in how fast the ice melts. But I got the 2 7-pound bags of ice. Walmart also sometimes sells a 20-pound bag, which is it's a lot of ice. So usually I get the smaller ones. All right, so another thing, you gotta break up the ice. You have to slam it on top of the cooler. I've tried slamming it on the ground, and I learned very quickly that the ground is disgusting. You smash the ice on the ground and it comes up all black and filthy. Oh, dump the ice in there. Yeah, it looks like I probably should have gotten a 3rd bag of ice. Although I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine for now. I'll just probably have to get another one tomorrow. So as far as how I'm choosing to eat, basically I'm trying to avoid sugar, flour, things like that. I'm trying to lower my carb intake. I'm not being like super duper overly strict. The way I think about it is, if I want to have something, if something really means a lot to me, if I really want to go to Dairy Queen and get a Blizzard, I will do it. But as far as just like what I eat day to day, what I'm shoving in my mouth just to sustain me, I'm trying to eat less carbs, and that seems to work for me. I'm not saying this is the best for everyone. I think you got to find something that works for you, something that you can live with day to day. So that's what I've chosen for myself. Okay, they'll usually divide the stuff into the pantry bag and the cooler bag. So got some pickles there. That's a good snack on the road. Some of this tuna that comes in a bag because it's easier to deal with than a can. Some salsa. I use this. What I use the salsa for is I've been making little chicken tacos. Got my tortillas there. I buy this chicken here. It's usually in the deli of Walmart. They don't always have the fajita season, so I was excited to see that. But I'll make myself little tacos. I'll put a little sour cream and salsa on there. I do use low carb tortillas. This one has zero carbs. Again, I'm just trying. This is what works for me. I'm trying to avoid ingesting so much flour and sugar. Those things aren't necessarily good good to be eating all the time. These hard-boiled eggs are great. Love having like hard-boiled eggs anytime I'd like without having to to boil them. And then yeah, the salads at Walmart are fairly decent. I like this Southwest salad. I've been eating that quite a bit. Now the one downside to all this is the food's always cold. Sometimes I do crave a warm meal. You know, it's all good, but yeah, sometimes you just get that, you know, you want something a little warmer. I looked into, there's like, apparently there is such thing as a car oven, something that heat up your food. I've not jumped into that yet. That seems complicated. It seems like it would take up a lot of room. It seems like it would probably take up a lot of time waiting for stuff to heat up. But I don't know. We'll see. You know, I definitely could incorporate other things. Could get a hot plate that could plug into the car. There's other options. You know, maybe I will expand, but right now it's working. The important thing a lot of times is just variety. You got to kind of mix things up. First I was like doing a lot of like lunch meat and things like that, and I got really sick of lunch meat. So you got to kind of switch things up, keep options open, and you know, introduce new things to your diet so you don't just get foundered on it. Foundered, a southern word. I never knew this word existed until I was an adult in the South. But when you founder on something, it's like you get sick of it. You eat too much of something, and you don't want it anymore. So it's a good word. So yeah, this is just what it's like to live in my car. I get the question a lot. For whatever reason, people are very curious. Like, do you ever sleep? Do you ever sleep in the car? And I do not. Now my answer is no. I do not. As you see, there's not a lot of room to sleep back in there. I did try once. This was years ago, where I tried to set up the Equinox to sleep in. I figured it'd save money on hotels, and I got like some foam padding in the back, got some beddings. I think I slept in it one night, and it was really uncomfortable. You know, you're limited how much you can move around. Also disconcerting. Like, people could come up and look in the windows. Not a lot of privacy. You can't stretch out. So at my age, I really appreciate, after a long day of filming in the sun, driving, I really do enjoy a good hotel room to stretch out in, to enjoy the air conditioning, to take a shower. And yeah, so I don't sleep in my car, but I do, in a way, I think I do live in my car. As you see, I got the car kitchen rolling back there, and you know, I spend more time in this car than I do the home I own at this point. So in a way, yeah, I'd say I've not been in the same bed for more than 2 weeks at a time since 2021. I would say it's almost fair to say I live in my car. Don't sleep in it. I don't sleep, but I live. This is my office. I sit in this chair. I eat in here. I do research for videos. I do a lot of cameos in here, and yeah. So this is like my living space. I've been trying to keep it cleaner. There was times where like this would just be a mountain of garbage right here. So now, kind of, it is a tip for traveling. You know, when you stop at a gas station, you need to rid yourself of all trash. You get up all the trash and you put it in the gas station garbage can. If you let it, so it's like if you let it build up too much, then you have like too much to throw away. Like, I've had it where I've put it all in like a big garbage bag. That's another thing. You make sure you keep garbage bags and Ziploc bags. Those are your friends. Paper towels, garbage bags, Ziploc bags, those are your friends when you're living in a car. But yeah, like I said, if you get a garbage bag full of trash, you can't just stick a full-size garbage bag into a gas station garbage. They get angry too if they see you shoving too much garbage in there. So you gotta kind of divvy out your garbage. Get rid of it while it's small. If you let it get big and monstrous, then you run into issues trying to get the car cleaned out. So yeah, so just some more stuff I want to talk about, but let's get a little further down the road. By the way, I've been getting some comments about the new hat, people wondering if I've replaced the old hat. I do still have the classic Carpetbagger pin hat right here. It's just this hat is very heavy. It's more heavy because it has all the pins in it. For whatever reason, it's gotten heavier over the years as it's absorbed things. But so yeah, I bought this at Buc-ee's because it's a little lighter. Want a little lighter hat for the summer. I can't walk around in an amusement park in 100-degree temperatures with this on my head. I was looking at other hats because I like this all right, but I do like the shape of this one better. So I was looking at buying some more hats or looking at purchasing hats, but the thing is my head is really big. This is an extra large hat. One of the reasons I bought it was just because it fit me. So I want to go to a hat shop or something like that and look around. I have to do it in person. If I order stuff online, I'm afraid it's not going to fit me. And you know, hat sizing online, it seems very imprecise. Not enough where I want to invest money in something that's not going to fit me. So I'm looking for some hat stores. If anyone knows any good hat stores, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know where I should be shopping. And we are back in Columbus, Ohio. I've got something planned for tomorrow, so we're staying the night here in Columbus, the city where my car spent 4.5 months. But it's good now. Hopefully my car is not staying in Columbus this time. It'll be coming with me when I choose to leave. Come down here to the riverfront to chat with you guys. Something I wanted to just talk a little bit about on this channel. So yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about is politics, or how politics relates to this channel. And since the very beginning of this channel, I've kind of made it part of my mission statement to not be political, to not not make this channel about politics. This channel's not supposed to be about politics. You know, I have my own personal views, as do all of you, but you know, I don't necessarily feel like this is the forum for me to extol those. I'm not trying to push any agenda here, not trying to further my beliefs in that way. I'm here to, you know, share my travels, share my experience, share locations across this country of ours that I'm interested in and want to share with you guys. But one thing I've noticed, you know, I've kind of made this decree. I'm not going to talk about politics in that sense, you know, and I do reserve the right to, if I do have an opinion about something that I feel is relevant or something I want to say, I will say it. I'm not restricting myself from having an opinion. You know, and sometimes I keep my opinion to myself because it's not important. Sometimes I'll say my opinion because I'm a human being and I have opinions just like everyone else. But one thing that I find interesting is that with my, you know, me trying really hard to avoid politics, to avoid political subjects, people, I see comments in the comment section where people are accusing me of having accusing me of having a political leaning, almost as if they're trying to figure out how what I'm doing relates to politics. And I got annoyed the other day, and I probably overreacted to this, but I was in, you know, the wax museums in Texas. They both had wax figures of Elon Musk, and I just made the observation, you know, Elon Musk, he spent $44 billion on Twitter, and I just commented that I thought the way he was treating it was very, very strange, a very strange case, that he was, you know, appearing to be very adversarial with his clientele, to acting in a lot of ways that, you know, a quote-unquote internet troll would, making, you know, what seems like intentionally antagonistic statements and whatnot. That's the only observation I was making. I don't know very much about Elon Musk. I don't have particularly strong opinions on him. Beyond that, I don't really care about Twitter. I didn't really care about Twitter before he bought it. It was never important part of my life. It was never something I found to be interesting or fulfilling to be on Twitter. I have a Twitter account. I think it still exists. Hardly ever actually use it. So it struck me the amount of anger that got from certain people. Apparently, gotta be careful. You can't make fun of Elon because some people like him, and that's fine. Like, if you are someone who looks up to Elon Musk, that's fine. As I said, I don't necessarily have that strong opinions. I was just making an observation. But one of the things that I did think was strange, like I said, was that people making comments about me and my political beliefs now confused me, because Elon Musk, to me, as far as I know, he is not a politician. I don't know necessarily where his alignments lie. I think maybe he leans publicly in one certain direction more than the other, but I don't really care, because I don't really care what Elon Musk's political opinions are. But just me making a snarky comment about him brought people angry with me because they thought that they figured out my political beliefs and that they didn't agree with my political beliefs. And to me, that is so exhausting. And it just, as I try, you know, I've tried to stay neutral on political things, sometimes it strikes me just how political people are, how strongly people believe. And that's fine. Like, I understand having strong beliefs. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have any problem with people having strong beliefs. I'm not trying to change anyone's beliefs on this channel, clearly. Uh-oh, just had some copyright music drive by. Okay, I think it's gone. I'm not trying to push the agenda. I'm not trying to change anyone's ideas. What I do get frustrated with, though, is this, like, divide. This country has very, you know, it seems like people you feel like you have to be all one way, you have to be all the other. If you believe one thing, then you believe everything on this side. If you believe something on this side, then you're all the way this side. It's not something I ascribe to. I feel like I'm allowed, and anyone should be allowed, to have opinions on both sides. I feel so much like with politics, sometimes it becomes like sporting teams. Like, you're just cheering for your team. You're not listening to the other side. You're just cheering your side. Everything the other side does is wrong, and everything that you do and your team does is right. And again, that's something I don't ascribe to. I kind of like, you know, with me, and, you know, I've ran my mouth off before. I've said ignorant statements. I've you know, assumed, especially as a much younger person, I was very, you know, oh, anyone that disagrees with me is an idiot. You know, I fell into that trap. But, you know, it's so much information on the internet now, and I feel like people hear something, and if it backs up, and it backs up what they already believe, that's the information they go for. That's the information they seek. And just what I would ask, you don't have to listen, but what I try to do is, if something just backs up what I already believe, you know, I question it. I question where the information's coming from. I feel like a lot of information is intentionally designed to get you angry, to grab your attention. It's kind of how the news works these days. But yeah, if you hear something that just immediately backs up everything you already believe, you know, you can use that information, but take a second. You know, why is it back up so much of what I believe? Why is it like 100%? Because there is two sides to every story, believe it or not. And I think everyone could do good slowing down and listening to the other side every once in a while. And there is, I feel like I'm really rambling at this point, but there is like a way that people view things, and it's like when someone says something you disagree with, it feels like our natural reaction is like, that person's an idiot, that person's evil, that person wants to ruin this country or ruin whatever because they're bad and they're evil. And the fact is, nobody thinks they're the villain. No one's doing things just to be mean. Well, not nobody. There are people doing things just to be mean and evil, but for the most part, people are raised a certain way. They have a certain belief system, and I think we could all do better when someone says something we don't agree with, when someone says something that we feel strongly in the opposite direction. Maybe stop a second and think, well, why does that person think that? Maybe, you know, I will never think that way, but maybe you can kind of understand where they're come from, what's their background, what they were taught growing up, what their values are. And you know, in the end, I do feel like, you know, with this divide, with everyone's on one side or the other, I feel like we have more in common as people than a lot of people realize. That, you know, take for instance, nothing to do with politics, but my interests: amusement parks, roadside attractions, haunted houses, people of all backgrounds, people of all belief systems, people very conservative, people very liberal, all of these things. And I can talk with them. We don't need to talk about politics. We can talk about things that we enjoy. We find out that maybe, you know, we have very much in common, even if politically we have nothing in common. And generally my approach to that, when I have friends that don't agree with me politically, we talk about other stuff. Now back to my original point. People, you know, wanting to take what I do and make it political. I get grief from people on either side of the proverbial aisle. I get questions like, you know, for instance, like when I was in California, people were saying, oh, you shouldn't go to California, it's a horrible state, it's ruined, I don't believe with how they do things. Or when I was in Texas, I got negative feedback on Texas, that I shouldn't go to Texas because you know, their government is supporting things that they don't believe in. And I don't see things that way. I don't think I would ever boycott a state, you know. I mean, I'm not gonna say never, you know, things change, but you know, just because if a state does something that I don't agree with, I don't think that says, I mean, it's, what is the state, you know? In most areas, you know, you think the country's divided, but really it's very close either way. Anywhere you go, it's about 60-40 at least. 60 people being, you know, voting one way, 40% of people voting the other way. You could flip it in other states, but you know, it's much more down the middle. You know, you want to say that California is a blue state, Texas is a red state, but really, when you break it down to it, they're both pretty purpley. And that's not, you know, and when I travel, I'm not trying to make moral judgments on people. I got a lot of grief from people when I went to the Tiger King Zoo in Oklahoma, because people say I'm supporting their treatment of animals, supporting negative things that happen there. And I just don't necessarily feel that my going somewhere and filming it is an endorsement. I'm showing. I go because I'm curious. I go to experience things. Again, people didn't like me going. Some people didn't like me going to the rodeo in Texas because of you know, their thoughts on treatments of animals. But you know, and I'm not even arguing you. I'm not saying that you're wrong for how you feel about rodeos. I'm not trying to change your mind, but I'm trying to just show you my experience. You know, you watch my video, maybe your mind will be changed, or maybe your mind will stay the same, or maybe your mind, you'll believe what you believe even more. I'm not trying to push a narrative. That's not what this channel is about. This channel is about experiences, the American experience, and the American experience is notoriously messy. This is not a country with a clean history, with a clean present. There's beautiful, amazing things. I love this country. The fact that I create this channel should be evidence of how much I love this country, and I love this country warts and all. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everything is great. There aren't really bad things that have happened in this country, but I'm trying to take in the full experience. And if I'm just going to states that are states that I agree with, or states like if I only went to like blue states or only went to red states, I'd only be getting half the story. I go everywhere because I want to see the whole picture, and I want to show you guys the whole picture, and I hope you guys can appreciate that. You know, like I said, it seems like some people maybe don't get what I'm trying to do here, which is why I'm trying to, this is probably the first time I've like tried to verbalize that aspect of what I film, and maybe I'm making no sense, but maybe I'm making some sense to people. I like to keep an open mind. I like to have that experience, and sometimes I'm very uncomfortable in an experience. Sometimes, you know, I maybe am at a place that there's some certain aspects of it that go against my personal beliefs, but I feel like it's better to withhold that judgment and to approach things with empathy, to approach things with an open mind. I'm not going there, I'm not showing up at an attraction to tell them how to be. I'm showing up at an attraction and I'm asking, what are you? What kind of attraction are you? What kind of attraction? You know, vast majority of attractions I go to don't have a lot of controversy behind them, but I do visit religious attractions. I'll visit any religious attraction. I've been to Salvation Mountain. I've been to Fields of the Wood. I've been to many great Christian attractions. At the same note, I went and I visited the Church of Satan, or the Temple of Satan, when I went to Salem, Massachusetts. I'm not a member of the church, of the Temple of Satan, but it's interesting. It's interesting to me what different people believe, what their motivation is. You know, obviously there's certain things in this world that I'm not going to condone, that I'm not going to be a part in. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to push my agenda. I'm just trying to show you guys this country, and hopefully maybe that will give you a better understanding of why I do what I do, why I go where I go, and how I approach things, I walk in to an attraction with an open mind. If it is an attraction that has, you know, some element of politics behind it, some element of religion behind it, I walk in there with an open mind. I'm not there to tell them what to believe. I'm there because I'm interested in what they believe, how they are showing their beliefs. And I think, you know, a lot of, you know, the religious attractions, it's, even if you don't, like let's just take Salvation Mountain for an example, even if you don't believe that, even if you're not like a Christian, I think you can go and you can appreciate someone who's dedicated their lives to building this mountain of paint, this giant spectacular thing. You can kind of feel what the things they feel, the amount of passion. I think that comes through on an almost universal level. I don't think you necessarily even have to believe the same things as that person to understand their passion, what they love, what means something. And you know, that's, if I'm pushing an agenda, I'm pushing an agenda of keeping an open mind, of appreciating other people, appreciating other belief systems. You know, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm not trying to make you believe something that you didn't believe. But if I have a word of advice, just maybe give stuff a second thought. listen to people. Just because you listen to someone doesn't mean you have to agree with them. Just because you listen to someone doesn't mean you have to change your mind. But there's a lot of anger out there right now. And I just think one way or the other, we'd be a little better off if we weren't that angry. And, you know, if we weren't, you know, when I see the comments of people getting mad at me for being too political, that's wild, because I feel like I'm one of the least political channels out there. I don't push an agenda, because I know, and there's other reasons, you know, I don't, you know, I never want anyone to feel like they're unwelcome here because they believe something different than me. That doesn't mean that we can't have passion over the same thing, that we can't enjoy roadside attractions, we can't enjoy amusement parks or haunted houses or museums. Those are 4 things that I feel are very unpolitical. You could have a political version of any of those things, but yeah. Tell me if I'm making sense. If I'm making sense, leave a comment in the comment section. If you think I'm a rambling moron, you can leave a comment saying that as well. So I'm going to be staying tonight. My home away from home, the DoubleTree Inn in Columbus, Ohio. I stayed there a week when I was trying to get after my car accident, trying to get everything sorted. When I came back to get my car, I stayed there again. I like staying. Yeah, I don't know. It's some weird tradition of coming back to Columbus and staying at the DoubleTree to remember the week where I was out of my mind with stress because my car was undrivable. But lots of adventures coming up. Like I said, I'm here in Columbus for a reason. Very special thing happening tomorrow that I'm planning on attending. So that'll kind of be the beginning of a season, if you will, here on the Carpetbagger channel. But thank you guys so much for listening to me and following along with me as I travel this country. I appreciate it, and hopefully this video gave some context to what I'm trying to do here. I think a lot of you get that already. I'm not trying to talk down to anyone, but maybe a few people just stumbling on these videos don't really understand what I'm about, and hopefully that maybe helps some people. But thank you so much. If you like these videos, wouldn't hurt to subscribe. I travel around the country. I film roadside attractions, amusement parks, museums, haunted houses, and other fun random stuff. If you'd like to help support the channel, there's always Patreon. $3 or more will get you a postcard once a month from me to you. Also selling enamel pins in the Etsy shop. I've got to get, we have the monster pins still available, the new monster pins. I'm trying to figure out, I'm gonna order some more pins, some of the older pins, bring them back to the shop. Let me know if there's any old pins that you guys would like to see back in the shop. Leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll try to get the ones that are most wanted back in the shop. And of course, if you'd like a personalized message, if you want to send someone a birthday message, you want to send someone an anniversary message, you want to do something just for fun, you want me to just send a fun message to you, go over to Cameo. All that information is in the description. And until tomorrow, my friends, this one's in the bag.